Welcome back to Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. We're playing the Scenario 1 Danger Room Debacle with Fiona and Deidre. And we're starting a new round. So let's take, we didn't actually look at it, let's take a look at the round order and see how that happens. So printed right on the map is the play round order. This is on the actual map. So with the ready phase, we invigorate all abilities, roll scheme dice, fill the initiative bag, and then we get into the combat, and then we check the objectives. So right now we're going to be doing these 3 steps, so let's get to those. Alright, so invigorating all abilities, I'm just zooming out here, means removing one of the cooldown tokens off each card that has a cooldown token, and currently that's just Fiona, so we're just going to remove one cooldown token off of that ability. Alright, up next was roll the scheme die. So we're going to roll the die for the Gizmoblin and see what it's going to do for activation this round. Alright, so here's the Gizmoblin, and we're just going to roll this die, and we're going to see maybe it'll change its tactics. Okay, so we got a claw symbol this time, which is actually tactic number 2. So this time it's just going to move 2 towards the nearest foe, do a melee attack which just automatically does 1 damage, and then harm, push the target 1 space. Ooh, that might not be good for our players. Alright, so that's what the Gizmoblin is going to do if it gets to go. So now the third thing we do is we fill the initiative bag with all the tokens, and then we're going to get going. Alright, so we're going to take all of the tokens, and that's all of them there. So we got the full round order for Fiona, Deirdre, and the partial action Fiona, Deirdre, and of course the blue. The Gizmoblins, they go into the nice bag that's not provided with the game. Yes, they do provide you with a little bag from the game. I guess I should show it to you. It's actually not bad. It's not a bad bag at all. However, I do prefer my Crown Royal bag, so there you go. Alright, and that's it. Now we're into the combat phase. So let's pull the token out of the bag, give them a good shake, and let's see who is going first. No! Are you kidding? So the blue, the Gizmoblins, get to go first. Wow. Okay, well that was unexpected, but that's what happens with random turn order. So it is going to move 2 spaces towards the nearest foe, and it will do 1 damage to Fiona, but I think, you know what, we're going to go ahead. It's not going to do a damage to us because we are going to use one of our 2 shield tokens for Fiona. We're going to burn that. I know, we shouldn't, but if we don't, it gets to push Fiona 1 space away, and it would just push her then right into this trap, which would be really bad, because then she'd take 1 damage from the Gizmoblin and 2 damage from the trap. So total of 3 damage, so she's going to burn her token, takes no damage, which means the harm effect doesn't happen, because the harm effect only happens if you are actually damaged. Alright, well that's it for the Gizmoblin. They're not going to be going anymore, so now it's just up to Fiona and Deirdre to have their turns. And let's see what we're going to do. So the first other token we pull out, Deidre gets a partial action. Let's go to her play area and see what she wants to do. Alright, so just for her partial action, she only gets this. So she can do an action or a shenanigan. And I think she's just going to go ahead and use a shenanigan. She's going to move 4 spaces, up to 4 spaces, so that's all she's going to do. Let's get back to the board and have her move. Alright, so Deirdre is going to move 4 spaces, obviously not going to be stepping through a trap. You can move through friendly character spaces. So Deirdre's going to go through Fiona space 1, 2, and 3. She's going to stay right here beside the doors, getting ready for the end of the scenario when those doors are going to open and we're going to see what is in the maze of madness. Alright, back we go into the bag, the next initiative, and what do we pull out? We pull out Deidre gets her full action now. Oh dear. Oh, focus. Alright, so let's see what she wants to do with that. Okay, Deidre's got 2 actions and a shenanigan. She kind of moved in a place where she can't use this ranged attack. So you know what? We're going to get her to reposition. So she's going to use her shenanigan, which is a graceful step, moving up to 4 spaces. Let's get back to the board and have her move again. Alright, so she is going to move just 1 space here. And now she's within 1-2 range of the Gizmoblin number 2. Let's back to her play area and see what she wants to do. Alright, for an action, she is going to go ahead and use her Divine Strike. Range of 2, rolls a yellow die against one foe, and you may push target 1. Well, she's not going to be able to do that. Well, she will, because he's up against a wall. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll 1 yellow die and attack the number 2 Gizmoblin. It has 2 damage on it already. Alright, so range of 2, 1, 2, yes, you can go through fellow characters, traps, barrels, everything. The only thing you can't draw a line of sight through for range is through the impassable terrain, like walls and or these purple ones. Alright, she's rolling 1 yellow die. We do have 1 epic die in the pool, but we're not going to use that. So she goes ahead and she gets 1 hit, and this symbol now, if you have to have more of these symbols than epic die in the pool to add one, so we won't be adding an epic die, but we'll be doing 1 damage to number 2, so let's give him another damage. Alright, currently has 2 damage, so we'll take those off and we'll put on a 3. So the Gizmoblin getting beaten up. Alright, Deidre's got 1 more action left. Let's figure out what she's going to do with it. Alright, and with her final action, yes, she will do the same ranged attack again, rolling a yellow die and range of 2. So let's see if she can do 2 damage this time. She'll get rid of the Gizmoblin. Otherwise, it's going to still be kicking. So let's go ahead and do it. Alright, is Deidre able to take the Gizmoblin out? 1 die. We're looking for 2 damage, but and she gets just a single point of damage. Oof! Which means the Gizmoblin is still kicking. It's up to 4 damage now. That is one tough little robot. Alright, 4 damage. It only has 1 damage left. Back to the bag we go for initiative tokens again. And yes, the only initiative tokens in the bag is Fiona. She was just taking a breather, I guess, and now it's her turn. And which one is it? It is her partial action. Alright, so let's go and see what she wants to do with her partial action. Alright, so for Fiona's action, this is action or shenanigans. She has no shenanigans, of course, so she's going to use this as an action, and she's just going to use her straight up melee attack. 2 yellow dice, splash 1. So she's going to destroy the Gizmoblin. Let's hope we roll a couple of those exclamation points, though, because if we do, we can add another epic die into the pool. Alright, Fiona's right here, ready to strike down the Gizmoblin. And she's going to be rolling 2 yellow dice, and let's see what we get. And she gets just 1 symbol, so that's not enough to add an epic die, because there's already 1 there, but she's going to do 2 damage. It's already sitting at 4 damage, as we know. It only has a total health of 5, and it is destroyed and out of here for now, until we, of course, we open up the next rooms. Alright, that was her partial action completed, and that's it. So the only token left in the bag, of course, is Fiona's full action token. So now she gets to take shenanigan and 2 full actions. Now once again, she has no shenanigans, but she will get to do 2 full actions, so that's pretty good. Alright, so what she's going to do for action number 1 is she's going to invigorate, catch her breath. And what that means is she can remove a token, cooldown token off of her ability here. That is good. And for her second action, we could take that off of there, but we're going to be resetting at the beginning of our next round. This is going to come off anyway. So she's going to do a move. So let's go ahead and have her move on the board. She's going to reposition a little bit for her final action. Alright, so she's just going to move to 1, 2 right here, getting ready to have these doors open. That's the end of the combat phase. Now we have to check the objectives. Have we completed the objectives in the gauntlet? Yes, we have. We have destroyed all enemies in there. And so now we have to move on to the Maze of Madness. So let's figure out how that works. Okay, so in the scenario book it says when you get to the objective phase, if you've cleared out all of the enemies in the gauntlet, you move on to the Maze of Madness, which means all of these door tokens suddenly are removed from the board. They open, basically, and you're into the next room. Well, what does that mean? It means we have set up for the next room, and in a 2-player game, we are going to be setting up 4 Gizmoblins in that room, and I think it's 4 Gizmoblins, and what was the other thing? And a couple of more traps. Alright, so just to look at the setup here, I'll show you in the book. So basically, if you're having 1 or 2 heroes, you do this, 3 heroes this, 4 heroes this. So we are on the 1 to 2, so we're going to, at location B, D, F, and G, we get a Gizmoblin, and at A, C, and E, we get a 2 damage trap. Alright, let's get that set up, and I'll show you what that looks like over here in the Maze of Madness. Alright, so I'm going to explain a little bit about how this is set up. So we have 5 Gizmoblins in Scenario 1, so we shuffle these up, and they're going to appear on B, D, F, and G. So the first one on B is going to be Gizmoblin number 3. So he shows up at B. And the next one from the shuffle deck is number 5. And number 5 is going to show up at, what did I say, D. And then we have F and G. Alright, and then on F we get number 4. So number 4 Gizmoblin is on F, and lastly on G is the number 1 Gizmoblin. Alright, and how this operates now for setup is we're going to go over and we're going to set the cards up in numerical order. So we're going to set them up 1, 3, 4, and 5, and that's how they're going to activate. They're going to activate from 1, 3, 4, and 5. So you know, so that's how the setup works. I didn't show you that in the very first scenario where we had 2 Gizmoblins set up, but that's how it works. All right, we're going to set that up, and we also have 3 2 damage traps to set up at A, C, and E. So I'll get those on the board as well. Alright, a little bit shorter episode here today. So we have now the Maze of Madness set up. We got the 3 traps and the locations. I showed you how we set up the enemies, and over here now I've set it up so 1, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be their activation order. Alright, we're going to leave it off there today, and when we come back, and tomorrow we're going to be starting a new round, which again is going to be invigorating all abilities, roll a scheme dice, fill the initiative bag, and get into some combat. Ultimately, we're going to go in here and figure out what's going on, and for this objective, for this room, it's once again the same thing. Knock out all of the Gizmoblins, and then we will be opening the final room into the Room of Doom. And we're going to have a scenario finale in there. So anyway, thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, and likes. This is Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. We're playing the first scenario. It's called Danger Room Debacle. So we'll continue on tomorrow with some more gameplay.